The end of the age of dinosaurs was not the end of predators. The asteroid that fell 66 million years ago wiped out the great reptiles of the Mesozoic, but it did not erase hunger, teeth, or the contest between hunter and hunted. In the smoldering silence that followed the firestorm, the world was cracked open for something new. Small mammals, once relegated to the shadows, began to multiply. In their ranks were not only timid foragers, but the seeds of hunters with jaws powerful enough to crush bone and limbs swift enough to chase across open ground. For millions of years after the dinosaurs were gone, a different lineage ruled the land, and yet their names are scarcely known. These forgotten predators shaped ecosystems, terrorized their prey, and then vanished before most of humanity even realized they existed. Their story lies half buried in fossil beds and half reconstructed in laboratories, waiting to be remembered. The first thing to understand is that extinction clears the stage. When the non-avian dinosaurs disappeared, niches opened everywhere. Forests regrew on soils rich with ash. Rivers cut new paths through landscapes once dominated by giant herbivores. Small mammals had already survived in burrows, eating seeds, insects, and carrion, but with their massive competitors gone, they could spread into forms larger, stronger, and more specialized. Among them were the hyaenodonts, a branch of predators whose very name reflects their dentition. Their teeth were blade-like, arranged in long batteries, not for chewing plants but for slicing flesh. Their skulls stretched into long snouts, their jaws filled with shearing edges that turned muscle into strips. For tens of millions of years, these animals ranged across Africa, Asia, Europe, and North America, dominating ecosystems in ways lions and tigers would not achieve until much later. Imagine the Eocene, 50 million years ago. The air is warm, global temperatures higher than today, and forests stretch into what is now the Arctic. Early horses no bigger than dogs dart between trees. Strange birds with toothed beaks stalk riverbanks, and among them moves a predator like times hyaenodon gigas asterisk, a creature that could weigh more than a modern lion, with a skull long as a human torso. Its stride was built for endurance, not short sprints. It could track, shadow, and finally overpower herbivores whose bones cracked under its bite. Fossil skulls reveal crushing power, jaws that hinged wide, and teeth honed into shears. In some deposits, skeletons of prey show bite marks that match the blade-shaped carnassials of these predators. They were not scavengers merely picking over leftovers. They were apex hunters, top of the food chain in a world still recovering from the collapse of the dinosaurs. What is striking is how unfamiliar these predators look compared to the carnivores we know today. They were not cats, not dogs, not bears. Their lineage branched off earlier, belonging to a now vanished order of mammals that left no direct descendants. Their skeletons suggest long, narrow bodies, massive heads, and often relatively small brains. They were specialists in killing but not in problem-solving. Yet their dominance lasted far longer than humanity has existed. For 20 million years or more, they were the rulers of their ecosystems. Fossils of multiple species appear across continents, each adapted to local prey. Some were wolf-sized, pack hunters perhaps. Others were solitary giants capable of dragging down large ungulates. Each filled roles left empty when the dinosaurs fell, writing a new chapter in the book of predation. Archaeologists and paleontologists piecing together their lives face challenges. The fossil record is never complete. Teeth preserve best, bones less often, and impressions of soft tissue almost never. But teeth are enough to tell a story. The slicing edges of hyaenodont molars are repeated across specimens found in Morocco, Mongolia, France, and North America. They show convergence with modern carnivores, proof that evolution will often find similar solutions to the same problem. If an animal must kill and consume meat, sharp blades evolve, whether in a saber-toothed cat or a forgotten hyaenodont. Stable isotope analysis of their enamel reveals what prey they ate, showing signatures of herbivorous mammals consumed and water sources visited. Every detail stitched from stone brings them closer to life. Yet dominance is never permanent. As climate shifted from the warm greenhouse of the Eocene to the cooler, more seasonal world of the Oligocene and Miocene, ecosystems reorganized, grasslands expanded, prey species evolved to run in open habitats, and new predators emerged from the lineage of carnivores, the ancestors of modern cats, dogs, and bears. These rivals had more flexible bodies, keener senses, and in some cases larger brains. They could adapt faster, hunt in more varied ways, and reproduce more efficiently. The once dominant hyaenodonts found themselves pressed into smaller ranges, then dwindling. By 15 million years ago, their diversity collapsed, and the last species vanished into extinction. Their reign, long by human measures, ended quietly, their bones left in sediments that hardened into stone. The forgotten predator lived and ruled during a time when mammals were experimenting with every form possible. Titanoboa slithered in South American swamps. Brontotheres thundered across plains. Giant flightless birds stalked with curved beaks. The world after dinosaurs was not empty but full of strange giants, and among them the hyaenodonts played a vital role. They kept herbivore populations in check. They shaped the behavior of prey. They left behind fossil bone beds that tell of their power. Yet they are little remembered outside scientific circles because they disappeared long before humans arrived to witness them. When people later painted cave walls, when they domesticated dogs and built villages, these predators were already fossils buried deep. There is a haunting lesson in their story. Apex predators may dominate for millennia, but no dominance lasts forever. Ecosystems change, climates shift, and rivals evolve. The very traits that make a hunter supreme in one age may doom it in the next. For the hyaenodonts, their narrow focus on slicing flesh and their lack of flexibility became their undoing. They could not adapt as quickly as the new wave of carnivores, and so they faded. Their extinction reminds us that power is always temporary, and that survival favors adaptability over sheer force. Today, when we look back at the great predators of the past, names like Tyrannosaurus or saber-toothed cats dominate popular memory. But between those famous chapters lies another, quieter one, written in the bones of predators most people have never heard of. The forgotten predator that lived after dinosaurs died was neither reptile nor cat, neither bird nor bear. It was its own experiment, long-lasting and highly successful until the world changed beneath its feet. Its fossils are a message from that time, telling us that nature's balance is always in motion. When paleontologists kneel in Moroccan desert sands and uncover skulls with jaws that once sheared muscle and cracked bone, they do more than catalog a species. They restore a missing piece of Earth's story. They remind us that life has seen many rulers, many hunters, many apexes. Our own species is only the latest. To know the forgotten predator is to know the fragility of dominance, the inevitability of change, and the deep history of struggle that shapes every ecosystem. The freezers of the modern world hold DNA samples from endangered carnivores, echoes of this long arc. Perhaps one day, as with mammoths and thylacines, people will ask whether long-vanished predators like the hyaenodonts could be resurrected, their genomes stitched together from fragments. But even if their DNA is beyond recovery, their story is not lost. It is written in bone, in enamel, in the landscapes they once ruled. It waits for us to tell it, to remember that after the dinosaurs fell, Earth was not silent. It was filled with new hunters, sharp-toothed and powerful, who for millions of years reigned supreme before fading into memory. This narrative of the forgotten predator runs deeper than curiosity. It is a reminder that extinction does not always come from cataclysm alone. Sometimes it comes from competition, from slow climate change, from the rise of rivals, and it is a reminder that the Earth has room for many chapters, many rulers, many forgotten empires of tooth and claw. The hyaenodonts, the strangest and most lethal predators of the Paleogene, lived their time fully. Though forgotten by most, they are part of the story that connects us to the deep past, a story still being written with every fossil pulled from stone and every analysis run under a microscope. Their legacy is not just in bones, but in the lesson that no reign lasts forever. And perhaps, by remembering them, we learn to see ourselves not as inevitable rulers, but as another fleeting experiment in a world that always changes. That is the truth carried by the forgotten predator that lived after dinosaurs died.